empty cup. Just crack a smile and fill it up. Fill it up.
Welcome to After the Final Pour, brought to you by the Malting Hour. I am one of your hosts, Tony Golick, joined always with
Brandon Winninger
and
Dan.
Oh, that's two back-to-backs like Big Dan's like that. I like that.
I didn't know when you were going to release these, so maybe they're not back-to-back.
They're going to be. Hey, everybody, what's going on? Hope you're enjoying your day. Hope you're enjoying your Monday or whenever you're listening to this. Brandon, you curated this After the Final Pour. What the hell are we drinking? Unless you don't have it in front of you.
I do.
I can stall, and then I can look it up real quick.
Yep. We are drinking Three Floyd Brewing's Zombie Ice Undead Double Pale Ale. Crafted with an unholy amount of citra hops, this double undead pale ale heralds the zombie evolution after the dust has settled from the apocalypse. 3floyds.com.
It's 8.5% ABV, 55 IBU, and is now available year-round. You guys, have you taken a whiff or a sip yet?
Yes.
Dan's like, let's get this done.
You know, it like jumped out of the glass, like smelling like zombie dust. Like I haven't had a zombie dust in probably 2 years, but I smelled it and I was like, holy shit, like it smells like zombie dust.
Wow. Okay. I've had zombie dust.
Maybe old zombie dust. I don't know.
It's been a while
it smells like citra hop.
It hasn't been a while for me, but it just smells like a very nice, like citra hopped beer. The color on it is very much like a pale ale, close to an IPA. There might be a little bit of chill haze to that.
True Three Floyd style.
Absolutely. As Dan had said before we started recording, why call it a double pale ale when you could just call it an IPA?
Well, because it's 8.5%.
Yeah, I don't fucking get it. That's a fucking double IPA. I don't get the double pale ale thing because this I took a sip. It drinks like an IPA, but with that being said, it's really fucking delicious.
Mm-hmm.
I really, really, really like this. I love citra hops. I feel like that's almost my go-to hop, and I try to get away from that when brewing. But man, citra just encompasses that nice, pithy, citrusy fucking flavor and aroma that I want in pale ales and IPAs.
It's super pleasant and super makes your beers super easy drinkable. And what and I know both of us, Tony, I think you sent it to me after I just saw it and I was like, what the fuck is zombie ice?
I sent it to Dan and Clark as well.
Yeah. So just knowing there's a new iteration of zombie dust out there was super, super appealing to me. And that's why I grabbed this. I was, curating our Irish St. Patrick's Day episode, and they had these tall boys just sitting in the cooler, and I'm like, I'm grabbing 3 of those.
I am really glad that you did because I wanted to try it, and I was happy when you sent us the picture. I gotta say, I mean, fuck. Is this a 19.2 ounce can?
Yep.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah. I'm glad they got into that game. Zombie dust used to be a beer that was tough to get, and Three Floyds was so smart about just releasing it the way they did. Same thing.
Super elusive to the point where there was times you could only, like, if you wanted to secure it, like your best bet was going to the brewery, and like you were lucky on that day if you showed up to pick up stuff and they had zombie dust on the menu and you grab that.
And I commend them for that. That was a great way of doing it. Now you can find zombie dust and Gumball Head like regularly available, and I like the fact that they, much like Fat Tire or New Belgium's Voodoo Ranger, that they do like all these different iterations. And I'll be honest, when I see those from New Belgium, I tend to like gravitate towards them and be like, oh, okay, let's see what this is like. I like that this is a new seasonal beer because it kind of makes Three Floyd's zombie, name or what am I looking for? What's the word I'm looking for? This is definitely an After the Final Pour.
I will say, let me build off of that because I think I'm going where you're going. It's there's another beer podcast that I've listened to where they
Wait. We don't talk about it.
I'm not saying any names, but
I said beard, by the way. I said
they they were focusing on how a lot of brands are doing brand extensions, and like Zombie Dust, or not like Zombie Dust, like the Voodoo Ranger, like the Two Hearted series now, with Two Hearted, Hazy Hearted, and all that other stuff.
Which, by the way, I did pick that up. I didn't check them all in. All 4 of those hearted beers are worth the 12-pack of purchasing.
But I was gonna say this kind of reminds me of like the answer to the Voodoo Ranger, which is like they've been doing like a heavier IPA in the tall boy can in the grocery stores that I've been seeing. I feel like this is like the local like answer to that. And it reminds me of, it's like giving me like nostalgia vibes. Like it reminds me of like probably 2013, 2014, like the Pipeworks Bombers.
Yep,
Like that's kind of like what I'm like the beer. It's like those like old school Pipeworks IPAs to me.
I'm not going to throw any other breweries out there, but there are some cans that are this size where I'm like, I don't need that. I don't need it like this. I'm not saying that like I want this particular beer like this, but this is the quality on this type of beer for that size is really, really good.
And
I thought I was going to go, sorry, real quick. I thought I was going to go back to the Irish beer that we had earlier. I might just sip on this to end the night, to be honest, because it's really, really I'm a sucker for citra hops, man. This is delicious.
Yeah, and I don't think this is the standard format. I do think it comes in like 12-ounce bottles or cans.
I would definitely grab this to have on hand to sit in my fridge, because this is just as exciting for me personally as Zombie Dust. I feel like they nailed this. I mean, again, like I love the fact that, like, you know, Gumball Head's a wheat ale, but it's fucking not a wheat ale. And Zombie Dust, is Zombie Dust considered a pale ale?
Yep.
Yeah, it's not. It's an IPA. And same thing with Gumball. Like, but this is
Alpha King's considered a pale ale too, I think.
Oh, what's going on there, Dan? Playing some music? That's
Instagram.
Fantastic. Yeah, you're right. But like, I love the fact that like they give these, you know, that's their version of it. But this, like,
stretching the limits.
No, I love it. I love it because I feel like Three Floyds, because their things became very much available. I think maybe a lot of people kind of just got used to it, especially here in the Midwest, of just being like, oh, okay, well, now it's like already available. There have been random times where I've grabbed like Gumball Head and be like, oh, okay, cool, I got Gumball Head, and I wasn't like super like excited about it. I was happy that I got it, but like now that there's this like new iteration, much like the new Belgium Voodoo Ranger series, this is awesome. I would love to have a 6-pack of this, because this can itself is gonna make me not be happy I have to go to work tomorrow morning.
Yeah, it's a good beer, and yeah, it does come. I just looked; it comes in 12-ounce cans and 6-packs. So
I want a 6-pack.
Yeah. So when I saw these tall boy, $3.99.
How much?
$3.99.
So for maybe like $4.25 for this almost 20-ounce beer can that's almost 9%, and there's some, you know, Goose Island's got what's the 9.9%?
The beer hug.
The beer hugs one.
Yeah.
Whatever the beer hug is, like that's the same, probably about $3 or whatever. But like, you know, I like that. I do like that beer, but these were side by side. Got to be honest. I'm reaching for this one.
Yeah, like
extra $1 for this. Yeah,
like my go-to, especially when I travel for, like, I haven't lately, but when I do travel for work, and if I'm like at the hotel and I'm like, I want to have a beer tonight, and I don't want to go and be around people, I'll run to the liquor store down the street, and like my go-to in tall boys is always like Lagunitas. Like,
absolutely,
something,
absolutely.
Like what? And because those are usually like $1.99. Like those are like super cheap.
We still need to do like a full Lagunitas episode, because much like Three Floyds, that's a big part of our craft beer background. Me and you, Brandon.
Yeah, we have to hit them up with the reopening, hopefully soon, of the Chicago tap room, which is that is still my favorite tap room.
Have either one of you? Sorry, not to cut you off, but have because we're talking about Three Floyds. Have either one of you been to Three Floyds?
Yes.
I have not.
Yeah, I have not either.
I've been there a couple times to pick up beer. I've dined in when they had their brew pub. I dined at the brew pub. And I've been there for a Dark Lord Day.
That's what I wanted to do this year, but I'm not available. I will say this. This to me is, I was kind of concerned when they closed the brew pub because I thought maybe Three Floyds was just tapping out and maybe things were not so great. But to see something like this, the Zombie Ice, a new brand, a new type of beer that to me, I think is exciting. And I feel like people that I know would really enjoy this. Also, I really love the design on the can. I'm looking at this can and like, fuck, I wish it was a sticker on the can so I could peel off and throw in my beer fridge.
It looks like a White Walker a little bit.
I was literally going to say, very reminiscent.
So I was looking at their new Zombie Dust cans, which are like a green
that's
zombie.
badass.
So it's like it's an extension off of the Zombie Dust cans, just like a blue or like silver.
It's a nice, fun rebranding, and I feel like I love Three Floyds. There's the with the Dark Lord days, like Brandon, you have shared some Dark Lord with me, and I've had some Dark Lord, and I'm sure anybody who listens to this has had a Dark Lord where there's two categories. You love it or it tastes like soy sauce. And I've had both. I really have had both. I've had one where I was like, holy shit, this is really good. And I'm like, ooh, I understand the soy sauce idea. So just knowing that like Three Floyds is still out there doing something like this, it was really, for me, I was super excited to see this beer that's why I shared it with the post with you guys. And Brandon, I'm so happy that you found it because this gets me excited for Three Floyds again, man. Like this is really a really fun, tasty beer.
Yeah. One of these days we have to,
it's 19.2 ounces.
One of these days we have to crack into, I probably have 4 or 5 Dark
You
Lord.
for sure have some. If there's any other person who knows what you have, it's me.
Yeah. But I definitely think we should do, like, next time we're all together, we'll do that as an after the final pour.
For sure. I'll remind you.
And I will honestly say, I think the whole soy sauce thing is dependent on how people store their beers.
Absolutely.
And if they don't store it correctly, or if there's like consistent changes in temperature, like that's going to screw it up. And
if I'm not mistaken, the one that I'm sorry to cut you off.
No, go ahead.
I was to say, if I'm not mistaken, the one that I had that didn't remind me of soy sauce was the one that I had with you.
Well, that's good to know.
Condo back in the day.
Yeah, because I still even when my stuff was at the condo, I kept all my stuff in the basement of my condo, like 5 floors down in the not 5, like it was actually a little below ground level, but it stayed in there, and it was always like a consistent like 65 degrees, and then like where I keep it now, it's usually around a consistent 65 degrees. It doesn't get much warmer than that. So
it's funny going in there.
I'm gonna go open one now, see what it tastes like.
It's funny going. It's funny going in there when we're recording, because that's where I take my break and I vape in that room, because it is cooler. And like I've talked about it before. I've done a video and I never posted it to Instagram of like a quick boomerang of like I've talked about it 4 years we've been doing this podcast now, of taking pictures or videos of what you have. And I think like a quick video would show people like how much you have. And if you guys know, like when we go into Brandon's cellar and grabbing those beers, there's not a lot of times like he pulls those out and they are ready to drink. Like it's the coolest temperature you can get where it's still close to room temperature. It's perfect. It's the perfect cellaring that like I could ever imagine.
Yeah, because 95% of the stuff in there is stouts. So
yeah, I mean, there's so many things where Brandon, I just got to tap you on the shoulder and be like, let's do this.
I was like, hey, can we open?
But
this?
then there's times
like,
also
okay,
where we like do a full episode and you're like, what about this? And like, God damn it, Brandon, we just drank all these beers. We're not doing this tonight. Dan, how many White Walkers? I'm sorry, hold on, not White Walkers. How many Jon Snows are you giving this one, Dan?
I am going to give this 4.5 I'll do 4.7. Kings of
Wow,
the North. For what it
dude.
is.
I gotta be honest. Like, I really thought because it's marketed it as a double pale ale at 8.5%, which is
No, I mean I'm not like I'm not.
way over a pale ale. But like,
Yeah.
you're going off of, like, the actual, like, the fact. Like, I really thought you were gonna go lower. Like, that's
For what?
wow.
So it's like I looked. It's brewed. I think it was packaged on 215. So it's like 2 weeks old ish, and it's like I don't know. It's just like the hops taste super fresh right now. It's just like tasting really good right now.
Yeah, so for me, like my expectations with Three Floyds is always like, oh, if it's a double pale ale, like it's going to be a hop forward, probably drink like an IPA. Same thing with like Alpha King. Like when I did that clone, and I was like, this is more along the lines of a like an IPA, and I think that's just it's Three Floyds pushing the style, like, and what I think they do is they use the grain bill that is attributed to those things. They just amplify it, and they get as much as they can out of it, which gives you an 8.5%. What they're going to call a double pale ale, like, yeah, is it?
Which at that point, it's like 4.25 ABV beers.
So you get like they couldn't. There's no category in like beer judging that's double pale ale. I don't think so. Like,
I don't think so either. What would you give this as far as Jon Snow's?
I was right before when you started asking Dan. The first number that popped in my head was 4.65.
Yeah, I'm fuck, man. I'm leaning with you guys. I'm gonna go 4.75 because it's nice to have like a new iteration of a beer from Three Floyds that, like, I love Three Floyds, and maybe it's a little biased, but I have to say, if this was any other brewery, I might knock it maybe a little bit, because I'm like, fuck, man, this isn't a pale ale, but because like a double pale ale, but because we know what Three Floyds does, like, this is just overall,
It's true to
like,
their
if I'm
style.
just judging it as like a tasty beer that I would want to get, like, nobody's like, oh fuck, let's go get some double pale ales. No one's like, all right, what's your favorite style? Double pale ale. But like, as far as beers go, like, this is just a fucking tasty beer. Like, grabbing this, and like, if we were hopping on the Metro going someplace, and we grabbed this, and we had say we're going to Beer Under Glass, and we're jumping on the Metro, and we had this, and you and I can split this, like, that's a good way to start like a trip.
100%.
Like a place
100%.
like you can. It's so good. It's such a tasty beer, but also I am partial to citra hops, so I love the design of the can. I'm super happy that Three Floyds has taken the zombie brand and decided to turn it into something else instead of just zombie dust. Now there's zombie ice, and I hope this works out for them, because it'd be nice to see, like, are there other zombie things, much like how Pipeworks does Ninja and Unicorn. You know what I mean? Like, there's different unicorn beers and shit like that. Like, I would love a whole series of different zombie beers that had different hops or different ways they did that were like double IPA, double pale ale, or if like there was a different like gumball head type thing. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
it's just really nice. Like, it's a very fun beer. It's very good. I love it. I'm with you. I'm doing the 4.75. 7.5. Thank you.
yeah.
I would never. I don't want this every day, but it's like
No,
it's
no,
like
not at all.
I feel like I'm also getting that nostalgia factor. Like it's reminding me of like when I was getting into craft beer. It's because we didn't really talk about it, but it's not hazy at all. It's
No, if you guys can see, like, I just poured the rest of it, and I have a full fucking pint glass here in my super sweet malting hour glass that Brandon got us for Christmas.
Yeah.
It's, dude, this is how I'm gonna finish my night, man. It's you're right. There's nostalgia to it. If you've had zombie dust, you'll love zombie ice. Really, like, it's fantastic.
When I was checking out at Bottles and Cans, the guy was like, "Oh, you checking out the zombie ice?" He goes, "Have you had it?" I said, "No." He goes, "It's surprising." He's like, the way it smelt, and after I poured it, he's like, I was expecting like it to come out like being hazy, and he's like, but it's super clear, and
there is like a juicy aroma to it.
yeah, it drinks like hop wise, it drinks like a hazy IPA to me, like a super like hopped hazy IPA. But
it's definitely juicier than it is bitter.
But it doesn't
It's
have that
more
body. It doesn't have.
malty.
Yes, it doesn't have like
Okay.
there's no lactose. There's no like anything in there like supplementing it. Like this is not a hazy IPA, but it is just a super
better.
well hopped.
This might be the best description if everybody listened to what we just said between the three of us, as far as like what we took away from it, like malty, juicy, hoppy, but it's still maintaining that like Three Floyds, like zombie dust type experience. Like this is great, man. This is really good. This might be one of the you know what? I'm gonna throw it up there. I already threw up one malty for the year, and I can't believe I'm doing it in March. This one's going up on my Maltese
short list
recommendations. My short list.
I'm pleasantly surprised. I wanted to not like it, but when I saw it.
Well, Dan, you and I talked about it when we were waiting to record. That we were like, oh fuck, 8.5%. What the fuck's a double pale ale? Like, goddamn. And then we cracked it open, and then like, I don't think any of us expected it to be like this.
The ice name honestly made me want to hate it too.
I
because it's such like a, I don't know.
So Tony, just so you know, I have a running note for you of what you mentioned on episodes as being up for the Maltese.
Fantastic, because I have it too, and this is number 2. This is number 2 on my list.
What's the first one?
The first one is from Mars Brewing, the Punchki.
Oh, I missed that one. So you have 3.
What was the other one?
Space Junk Logboat.
Oh shit, that's on there too. Oh fuck, I got 2 IPAs. Well, an IPA, a double pale ale, and the Mars Brewing Punchki, which
is that
by the time this is out, I'm pretty sure that episode's out. The Apple.
I haven't heard you guys talk about that yet, but was that like super sweet?
No. It's fantastic. Dude, it's so good.
The Mars one?
So fucking good.
The Punchki one, yeah.
Oh yeah.
I was at Benny's.
You'll hear it on the episode.
I will listen. I will. I was at Benny's the other day, and there was a Punchki vodka.
Yes,
from a Detroit distillery.
Joe from Percolator posted about that on Facebook.
Really?
And he was like, should I buy this? I'm like, yes, buy it and tell me how it is.
I took a picture
because we all want to try it. But yeah, the Mars, what was it? The chocolate custard Punchki stout, because there's a pistachio one and then a double chocolate one, which I said I was going to go back and get, and I didn't. But the actual Dan, the camera like froze, and it looked like you were holding up a lightsaber. Still can't really see.
Really? Is it like frozen?
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. Oh, actually, that's better. Yeah. But yeah, the Mars Punchki chocolate custard beer was fantastic. Space Dust is on there, and then this is on there too. So there's 3 beers. So thank you, Brandon, for clocking that for me.
Of course. All
right. So any last words on this? By the way, I just burped. I still have a full fucking pint. Oh God, it's so good. It's so good. But like, I know that there's like certain IPAs or certain beers that I have like when I burp, and it's like those hops come back through the burp, that I'm like, oh fuck, I really do like this beer, and I want to go back and have more of it. But I also know that I need to drink more water before I go to bed. So Brandon, I love you, buddy.
Love you too, man.
Thank you so much for curating this and the other episode of the Irish beers. So that was fun.
Of course.
And Dan, hey man, thanks for showing up.
I love you guys.
Oh shit! Dan fucking loves us. Oh man, we love you too, Dan. Dan, this is like 2 episodes. I don't know if they're in a row, but 2 episodes where, man, we didn't really shit on each other. Do you want to say anything shitty to me now so we can like make sure we don't break that?
I got nothing.
I got nothing either.
I've been trying to.
Fuck. We'll figure it out another time. All right, everybody. Thank you for listening. Keep liking, keep subscribing, keep sharing, I don't know, man. Just fucking keep doing stuff that helps us keep doing this. All right. See you guys next week.
Can I say one thing real quick?
Oh, shit.
Sorry.
Joe.
Listener Joe.
Joe? Are you talking about
Joe Jung?
Our Joe?
Yeah, Joe Jung.
Yeah, Joe.
He reached out to me, and I forgot to mention this, but so he reached out to me about that Cruz Blanca beer. And then he reached out to me saying that he had tried the newer version, which was like we had that, I can't remember what it's called right now, but it was like the raspberry ale. You
Well,
remember that I had?
I thought it was a key lime pie one we did.
No. The Cruz Blanca I had when we were recording on Zoom the last time.
Oh, yes.
It was like the raspberry.
Yes.
I mentioned him and he was like, "Oh, like, thanks for the shout out." And then he tried the new one, which was with coffee. And I just wanted to shout out Joe for like listening all the way to the end on some of these.
I'm gonna be honest. Like, Joe is seriously our number one fan, and we owe him a shirt. Number one. Number two, we want to go and drink some beers.
I bought it.
Oh, fantastic.
We have
Joe
it.
will drink
It's
some beers
coming.
with you. And at some point this year, we're gonna have a whole episode where Joe, you gotta come. Joe's gonna come by and be on an episode. Like, we can't not have Joe on an episode at this point,
Yeah.
right?
I agree.
Because there's other people other than Joe listening, and we keep mentioning Joe. So Joe, at some point this year, and we're on almost year 2 now of us meeting up with you from Beer Under Glass. But Joe, we love you, man, and thank you everybody for listening. And we'll see you guys next week.
Yeah.
Bye.
Brandon, yep.
I was going to say, you guys are both.
What are you gonna say?
You guys both suck. I wanted to insult somebody, so there was an insult.
No.
Whatever.
Try it one more time right now.
You guys suck. No, I got nothing. Fuck.
We'll take it.
I love you guys. I dream of you in my sleep.
This has been The Malting Hour. Be sure to follow us on all social media by searching The Malting Hour and at themaltinghour.com. You can also follow us individually on social media. Brandon can be found on Instagram as BMDub81, on Twitter, BDub81, and on Untapped as BDubDrinksBeer. Tony can be found on Instagram and Untapped under Ace of Help Chicago, on Twitter, The Ace of Help Chicago. Clark can be found as Clarkowski on all 3. Dan can be found on Instagram as hip__hops and hip hops on YouTube. Be sure to subscribe, like, and rate the show on your preferred podcast listening platform. Until next time, cheers from all of us at The Malting Hour.